Just a quick warning before the show starts. I was dumb and definitely did not get the audio levels right between me and Curtis. I wanted to make sure that that you could hear him, and I ended up turning myself way down. So if you notice a big difference when we're talking, I do apologize for that. The conversation is great, and thank you again, Curtis, for coming on the show. Please come back so I can be better at what I'm trying to do. What is up, my Gaggle Geeks, and welcome to Pat Chats, where I talk with industry professionals about their dreams, their ambitions, their careers, and everything in between. And on episode 2, I've got a very special guest. He is a producer on Good Things Utah. He's been involved with iHeartRadio. He's worked with U92. He's been in radio for a very long time, and he's also my producer. Please welcome Curtis. What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. Thank you for coming on.
No, I thank you so much for inviting me. Like, I've been hearing that you've been doing the podcast, and you had Dina on not too long ago, and yeah, I'm super excited to be on.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, and I got to be honest, when it comes to, like, I told you this earlier, but talking with Dina seemed a little bit less intimidating because I guess I've seen her more often in the flesh. I've not seen you physically, maybe once or twice, once by accident at the studio.
I'm a mystery.
You are a mystery.
I'm a mystery.
Like, you whizzed right past me, and I was like, all right. I don't know who that is. He seems cool.
So do you remember one of the first times you were at the station? I think you were in the bathroom, and I knew it was you, but I was like, is it weird to say hi when you're in the bathroom? It's like, I'll just wait till you come out.
That's awesome. No, I was, when you had left and then I messaged you and found out that was you, I was like, well, I guess it makes sense why we wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how awesome would that have been if it was just like, what's up?
Like, what's up, dude? I know it's you. It would have been really super awkward.
Just not tell me who you are and be like, you're really good on the show.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you first, starting with Good Things Utah, because this happened fairly early on in the pandemic, right?
Or
at least your when you moved it into being a show producer.
So I've been a producer with GTU since August 31st was my first day with them.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So 6 months. We're at the 6 month mark. Yeah.
What do you think between because first started with being a digital content creator? What was that like working with Good Things Utah and kind of transitioning from radio over to TV?
Wow. So I've been with ABC for about 2 years. I've done radio for 22 years. It was different. Like with radio, it's kind of like this, where like you're in a studio by yourself, you're just kind of doing your thing. But with TV, it's live. Like, you know, it's very visual. And you know, when I first started producing, I messed up a lot. Yeah. But like people were patient with me. So I mean, there's a lot of writing, there's a lot of dealing with directors. Everything's very visual, where with radio it's just a lot of audio. All you do is hear stuff. But with TV, you're hearing it and you see it as well.
Yeah. Well, what were can I ask what were some of the mess ups at the beginning?
Oh wow. Jeez. Well, so when I first started producing, I didn't have any training. Like I literally had no training. So I had to learn how to write for TV. I had to learn what like all these terms were, like write a VOSOT. What is a VOSOT? I have no idea what that is.
What is a VOSOT?
Yeah. So it's basically like you're taking a sound bite of what somebody said, and then you put B-roll on the back of it. And it's kind of what the anchors kind of like go back and forth with. So just learning the different terms, learning to write, like with, you know, press releases, you have to make sure that everything is correct and accurate, because if you say something that's not accurate, you have an anchor say it, you can get in a lot of trouble. Like we have anchors that have been sued.
Oh, totally. Especially when it comes to like, because I know you guys don't really delve into like more political stuff on the show. Yeah. But every once in a while, it can kind of sense like it's like we got to get this pretty specific on what we're talking about.
Yeah. So I guess, so with GTU is different because I was producing news. So with news is obviously very, you know, serious. You're dealing with like COVID, you're dealing with, you know, crime, the weather. But with GTU is lifestyle. That's why I was excited to join that show. Coming from radio, it's like entertainment, you know, obviously movies. Mm-hmm. So it's just everything that deals with lifestyle. So I I don't have to think as hard about it because, like, if I'm talking about a movie review, oh, boom, 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 this is what it is. But it's, when you're talking about, like, COVID, it's like, let me go and make sure I have this right before I write it because, I don't want to get dinged for something.
You don't want somebody running up at you.
Yeah.
It's social media, be like, hey, that's not accurate.
Yeah. And we've had that happen a few times on GTU. As a matter of fact, it just happened this past week where one of our hosts said something that wasn't correct, and we'll get emails about it. Hey, your host said this.
Yeah.
Whoops. We'll send an apology or we'll retract something.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. It happens. It happens for sure.
But let me talk because first I only know really as much as like the LinkedIn show me or anything. So where did you get your start? And I don't know, what is your background when it came to wanting to jump into radio back in '99?
So actually, I went to broadcasting school. So I'm originally from Michigan. I went to a broadcasting school called Specs Howard. Originally, I actually wanted to go for TV. My original plan was to do something with TV, not necessarily a producer, but just something behind the scenes. As I was going through the classes, at first you have to take radio and television. So I'm doing radio and TV for like 4 months, and I decided radio seems a lot more fun and a lot less intense. And I love music, so I went full steam with radio. I bounced around different markets and, just throughout the country. I had to come back to Utah for personal reasons a couple years ago. There was no full-time jobs in radio. So, I'm just scouring for jobs and, I came across ABC4.
Yeah. Well, you have been everywhere. Like you've been to Florida. You've been as far as, I think you went to Washington too.
Yep. Spokane. Yep. Spokane.
So if with that kind of spectrum, you've gone from Atlantic to Pacific Coast, where's been the most enjoyable stay for you?
This is an easy question for me because I just spent 3 years there. Boise, Idaho. Spent 3 years in Boise. So there's a couple reasons why. Just quality of life was amazing. I had a great quality of life there, and as you see in social media, it's also where my health changed. When I first started working there, I got an endorsement with this weight loss company. And, you start with a weight loss program. It's like, maybe I'll lose 10 pounds. I lost 30 pounds within a month. Dude. And I just kept going. So good. Yeah. So I eventually lost about 100 pounds, over 100 pounds. So that's why Boise is special for me because quality of life, I had a great job there, and that's where my health changed.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a good segue because we do have a recurring segment, even though it's the second episode of, we don't know if it will keep going, where we kind of look through your Instagram and pull something that's interesting. Yeah. The first picture that I brought was actually just of you exercising and hustling for it. So I wanted to know first, kind of what was the biggest challenge of your weight loss journey, and how important is it during all of the kind of craziness now to keeping up with exercise? Because you're there every morning or there pretty much every day.
Try to be. The biggest thing for me, as far as the education part of it, eating, nutrition. They say abs are made in the kitchen or something like that. Yeah. Back in the day when I would try to lose weight, I thought, I got to spend an hour at the gym. No, you just got to eat right. You add the activity with it, but the biggest thing for me was just learning how to eat right, learning what foods, trigger a weight loss and what foods trigger a weight gain.
I still haven't gotten there yet. My
dude, you're ripped. What are you talking about?
It's from the intermittent fasting.
Oh yeah, I did that too. Yeah,
I can't not eat pizza. Oh. It's been a struggle, and honestly, I wasn't kind of in the same class as you as far as weight loss. Yeah, that's why I'm very impressed with that.
Oh, thank you.
But I was almost to the 200 mark, and then right at that point, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
And there gets to a point, I don't know if you got to this point where your abs start to feel like they're kind of caving in. Is that a weird thing? I never had ab strength.
I don't know that I ever got to a point to where I could I never had a six pack, but I know what you mean where it feels like they're kind of something like that. I never really got to that point, but I know people that have. The biggest thing is people that say they have loose skin. That's a real thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had a boss that had to, I keep getting the words wrong. I think it's gastric bypass surgery.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, coolest boss I ever had. And I remember him talking all the time. Like, I just hate this stupid thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Yeah, that's why you have, I mean, you live up here in Draper, you see all the plastic surgery places, like people lose weight and then they literally go get their skin tightened.
Yeah, well, and we can talk about Real Housewives of Salt Lake with Heather being, being what, I don't know exactly what her thing, it's plastic surgery, no? It's basically injections and stuff.
Yeah, something like that. And so she's like one of my favorites on the show. Her and Whitney are my favorites.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, I'm so Wednesday. It comes on so late for me on Wednesdays. I can't watch it, but me and the wife will usually catch up on Sundays.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty caught up on it.
So what did you think of the face, whatever decoration thing that Lisa had on her?
Oh, you mean Meredith?
Meredith.
Yeah.
I always get them mixed up every single time.
Yeah, it happens. I thought it was funny because I think that was like the season finale, or it was like one of the last couple episodes of the season. So if you think about it, they were filming this stuff a year out. So when they filmed that episode, that's probably when COVID was hitting. So it kind of made sense. Like, I mean, I wouldn't wear that mask, but I know a lot of women who would.
Well, I was watching when they were getting things ready for Sundance.
Yeah.
Is it Meredith or Lisa that's Queen of Sundance?
That's Lisa Barlow.
So Lisa was like, I'm Queen of Sundance. And I was like, this is where it started.
Yeah.
Maybe Lisa started this whole thing.
She might have, yeah.
Don't mess with her tequila brand.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So what other things do you and the missus watch?
So we like a lot of like the cartoons that come on, like Animation Domination. Oh, nice. So it's funny, I was just talking about this on my radio show. So I still do radio in other markets, but I was talking about this the other night because me and my wife, we always go back and forth, Family Guy or Bob's Burgers. Do you watch any one of those?
Yeah. And I have an opinion. Family Guy gets repetitive.
Lately it has. Lately, yes.
Bob's Burgers, I feel, has kind of the most creativity on its side, and it's got the stupid jokes to me that work a little better. I hear they're doing a movie, but I don't know if they're still doing anything with that. What's your pick, though?
I'm a Family Guy. I love Family Guy, and I didn't used to like Family Guy. I kind of got on the Family Guy train late, but I'll be honest, I don't understand Bob's Burgers. I don't understand how that show's been on for like 10 years now. And I heard they're making a movie.
Yep. I couldn't tell you exactly why. I think it's just got that weird charm.
Yeah, I mean, it's an acquired taste. But like for me, but Family Guy has definitely kind of dwindled a little bit. But, you know, I still love it.
Being in radio, had you ever kind of looked at any opportunities to do voice acting stuff too?
No, but I mean, I've had people that would hit me up to do like voiceover stuff. Like, if you listen to radio stations, you'll hear the voice of the radio station. It's called like an imaging voice. Like I've had people to hit me up to do that type of stuff, but I feel like you have to have a big baritone voice to do that.
Yep. Or Mr. Movie Phone, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
So what was, so you went to Michigan.
I'm from Michigan. So I went Michigan, Idaho Falls, Salt Lake, Florida, back to Salt Lake, up to Spokane.
That's such a big difference to go to Florida.
North Dakota.
North Dakota's even bigger.
Boise, and then back here to Salt Lake.
Okay. So what was being an intern like in kind of the radio sphere when it was kind of, we hadn't gotten podcasts yet?
No.
Like things were really changing the game as far as that goes. But what was it like for you?
So when I got into radio, that was kind of like the beginning of automation. So like, I shouldn't really say this, but like sometimes if you listen to a radio station, your favorite DJs, they're probably not there.
What?
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're in other states. Sorry,
that is so cool. No, that's a fun fact.
Yeah.
You didn't have a button sound effect for that, but I would press it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's just kind of where the industry is. But when I was getting in '99, that was kind of like the beginning of automation and voice tracking. So when I was an intern, I used to pull something called carts. You know what 8-track tapes look like? Yeah. They look like 8-track tapes. So I would pull the jocks' carts and stack them up each hour for like their commercials. Then I would pull like their CDs. So it'd be like a stack of CDs, a stack of carts.
And you just
Yep. You put it in the CD player. You put one in the cart machine. Yep. And you have to like, so, this was before automation. So you're literally like kind of how you're board opping over there. You have to hit every button live.
Yeah. I like the automation starting to happen with me.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning, I'd have to press the button,
Yeah.
turn to look back.
Yeah.
It was probably so awkward for
A
Tina.
lot of eye-hand coordination, yeah.
Well, what is the big difference now when it comes to like podcasts are everywhere?
Yeah.
Like and it certainly shook up radio.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of radio. So radio's in a tough place right now. A lot of people are losing their jobs, but there's a lot of people who have shifted over to podcasts because, well, it's free and you can make a lot of money with podcasts. You just, kind of like what you're doing here. This is an amazing setup. And, I don't know if you have sponsors, but a lot of people have sponsors. And, it's just something, it's a way to stay active and for people to still hear your voice and to, kind of, talk about what you want to talk about.
What makes people, I guess, choose one or the other? Because with podcasts, it's a little bit more long form. You've got more.
Yeah.
Is radio kind of more just kind of the music box for people?
Yeah.
Or do they go for the hosts more?
It depends. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people who have their favorite DJs that they'll go specifically to a certain radio station for, like mostly morning shows. Once you get past like 10 o'clock in the morning, it's mostly just about the music. But I mean, there are people who do radio and they also do a podcast on the side. And then you have people that just do strictly podcasts just because that's their thing now.
Is there a favorite time of the day that you liked hosting?
On the air? So for most of my career, I did what's called the night shift, which is like usually like 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. to midnight. My favorite was afternoon drive. That's like prime times when people are driving home from work or school.
Because everybody's in the car. Like stuck in traffic.
Yep. That's your highest listening time is either mornings or afternoons.
Okay. What was the most interesting part about kind of switching from radio into a digital platform? Like their struggles, sure, with like getting the wording and things right, but it feels like video is such a different medium as far as like you kind of, in a sense, have to put on a show.
Oh yeah,
and act in a way with
it.
What was that like?
I mean, so for me, like I didn't have a lot of experience with like Premiere Pro or some of the video editing systems. Like I could do iMovie on my phone all day, but like for even something like this, like you have to learn how to do it and make it look good. So like a lot of radio DJs right now, like they'll do their show in the studio live, but then that's also where you have like Facebook Live and Instagram because like while radio is audio, people do want that visual interaction as well. That's why, a lot of DJs are still relevant because they have the audio and they have the visual to go along with it.
Do you have a favorite radio show in Utah? And do you have a favorite podcast that you listen to?
As far as podcasts go, as far as like here locally.
Yeah.
So there's a girl up in Logan, her podcast, can I cuss on this?
Yeah, go for it.
So her podcast is called Quit Your Damn Job. And it's basically about like how, you might be in a job that either you love or you hate it. But if you hate the job, why not go and find something that you love? So it's a girl, her name is McCall. She does a radio show up in Logan. As far as radio stations, right now, I mostly listen to either 97.1 ZHT or Power 94.9.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about... I guess I could say that when it comes to your Instagram and stuff, the posts that I see a lot are more inspirational stuff.
Yeah.
And what you're saying right there with like, if you don't like what you're doing, why don't you go find something that you like doing? What is the biggest aspect to you in regards to, do you feel like in order for you to be successful, you need to help others be successful as well?
I definitely believe that you should pay it forward because, I mean, I feel like you put out what you put out, you get back, right? Mm-hmm. So like if you put out good vibes, you help people, eventually you will get that in return. It may not be, right away, but I feel like eventually you will get that in return. There's a lot of people who I've helped get their start in radio. Some are still on the air today. Yeah. So I feel like for me, like I love seeing that. Just to know that I help somebody get their start in something that they love. And even, I would love to get to that point on the TV side, but I'm just getting started myself.
It's kind of already started a little bit. Like, I would not be walking into a studio without you. So there's that.
Yeah. But you are very talented. I love your movie reviews. So, that was a no-brainer for me to, reach out and it's worked out well so far.
What has been the hardest part about moving kind of everywhere?
In the beginning, it was easy because, I'm a 21-year-old kid. I'll say kid. I don't have wife or kids at that point in time. So it's nothing to just pick up and, I'm going to move across the country. I'm going to take this risk. But, later on down the line, when you have a wife and kids to consider, you really have to look at it and say, okay, like, is this worth me uprooting my family? When I moved away, my kids unfortunately didn't come with me because I didn't want to have them bouncing around from, in different states. So luckily they were able to stay here in Utah while I was away, and then I came back. But for some people with a family, it's they do it, but it is something you want to you kind of want to think about that before you just sit and say, okay, well, I'm going to move across the country with my whole family. Well, if your kids are in a school that they love, they have a lot of friends there, you have to kind of think about that.
Yep. No, I agree. That's gotta be tough to be like.
It is.
We're gonna narrow down how to handle you guys feeling like you have a steady like school stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I guess right now that doesn't even matter. It's like you're home and you're in school.
Everybody's doing remote learning. But I mean, I feel like kids do need that stability. You don't want to take that away from them. So like if you can help staying where you are, or it sucks to have your family split up, but sometimes you have to do that for the better of your family.
No, for sure. Well, let's give you another Instagram pic. This one, there's a lot of celebrity dropping.
It's a throwback.
That we're gonna do. Yes. So Ja Rule.
Yeah.
First of all, Fire Festival. Did you see the documentary?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard enough about it to feel like I've seen it.
Okay. Well, tell me the situation with this, and then I want to know your thoughts about Fire Festival.
So this was, I want to say 2007. So I used to work at a radio station here locally called U92. They're still around, obviously. This was our summer jam or spring concert. And that was the first time I ever seen Ja Rule live, and obviously he was cool enough to take a picture with me and my wife. So yeah, he actually was in Utah about a year ago. As a matter of fact, a year ago this month, he did a show at Vivint. We were there. I didn't get a picture that time, but he was. I like Ja Rule. When 50 Cent came out, he kind of dwindled, but I still like him.
Well, what do you think about all the situation with the Fire Fest? Because the way I kept viewing Ja Rule in this situation was that he was an unknowing investor.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe towards the end, he started figuring out and piecing together that some of the stuff wasn't right. But.
Yeah. So I feel like with a lot of artists like that, because as far as like his music, like it kind of downshifted, but like you look at ways to make money and stay relevant, whether it be through products or clothes, or in his case, investing in his concert, which turned out to be kind of a mess.
But Survivor episode for most people.
And I think I heard they're going to try to do another one. I don't know why or something like that.
Who's going to buy the tickets for that?
I have no idea.
There will be people buying the tickets.
Yeah, somebody's going to buy the tickets because they think look, COVID, everybody's yearning for a live concert right now.
What do you think those first concerts are going to be like when everything starts back up?
I think it's going to be nuts. I think it's going to be nuts. I tweeted a while ago, like, I feel like when everything opens back up, all of the big club promoters here in Salt Lake and all the DJs should just get together for one big club night, just open it up. Everybody could come in and everybody just have a good time, because it's like, woohoo, we finally made it through this pandemic, and it's a way for people to kind of like relieve some of that stress. I don't know if that'll happen, but I think it'd be a good idea.
When this whole thing ends, I'm very excited to see just like people out and like hugging in public and like, it's happened. I don't know. I think that might be pretty big when that.
I think it'll,
slow.
I think it'll kind of, everybody will kind of look at it like, you got to really appreciate what you have, because like for a year now, we've had all of our favorite things taken away from us. So when it comes back, you got to really appreciate it, because you never know when it could be gone again.
Mm-hmm. What are you going to do once like it's kind of the all clear? What would be your first thing that you want to do?
Gee, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like my life has been affected so much. I would love to be able to go to a live concert. I would love to be able to go and host a club gig somewhere. I would like to be able to go to the gym and not wear a mask. It would be nice just to get back to normal living. Like, I have 4 or 5 masks in my car. Like, I feel like I can't go anywhere without a mask. Just being able to go to a grocery store at a normal time. I mean, shoot, Walmart used to be open 24 hours. I think some of them don't even open till 7. What if I want to go to Walmart at 1 o'clock in the morning?
That was my life when I was in Orem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's actually where I met my wife. Me and her.
Oh, nice.
We're going to UVU at the same time.
Nice.
And, we were just in the same dorm, and I just kind of, stalked her until she agreed.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Light stalking. Not.
You weren't like the cougar up in Provo that was like stalking the prey.
UVU, they get mad if they call you cougar. At UVU.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet.
But it's really like you're the same.
Yeah.
There's no difference between.
Now, you're right. You're right down the street.
You guys just didn't get scholarships.
Exactly. Ouch.
Well.
Ouch. My sister-in-law went there when what did it used to be called before it was UVU? Wasn't it like wasn't it UCCU at one point?
Yes. Yeah.
So my sister-in-law went there like a long time ago. She didn't go there very long, but she went there when it was the UCCU, and then it switched over to UVU. So,
were you doing any college radio stuff?
No, I never did college radio. So, well, I take that back. The broadcast school I went to, we had like a mock radio station.
Okay.
It's where we did like our fake radio shows and made our fake air checks. But like it didn't broadcast out except outside. Like in the school, you could hear it. But like you couldn't like be driving around Metro Detroit and hearing it. It's not like that. It would have been cool to do college radio, I think.
No, for sure. That'd be, what's the movie, Pirate Radio?
Yeah.
That's what I feel when it.
Well, I mean, it'd be kind of something like this, where it's like you kind of have like an open forum, and you kind of just get to do your thing and explore with your creativity and find your lane.
Yeah. Well, what was your favorite place to work for when it came to radio, and what's a cool story that you could tell us?
So I mean, I would say again, Boise. Just everything that happened there. As far as like, I'm trying to think. I mean, Salt Lake. I have a lot of memorable stories here. My first go around here in Salt Lake was back in 2001.
Okay.
And I have a lot of lifelong friends that I built that I'm still friends with to this day, like 20 years later. Probably one of the most memorable things is me and a couple friends. So I had never been on an airplane.
Yeah.
I had never been on an airplane. We all decided to go to Vegas one weekend. And like we get down there and like I had never been to Vegas either. So like first time on an airplane, first time in Vegas, I'm with a bunch of friends who I've only known for like a few months. And it was just a really interesting, wild time. And
were you guys on the Strip? Were you staying there? Or
we were staying on the Strip and we went to like a couple casinos. And
which ones?
I don't remember. It was 20. This was literally 20 years ago.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm from St. George, so it was like an hour and a half drive to us all the time. It's weird when you get used to the Strip, how like the cards and stuff just no longer phase you. You're just like, just walk past. But there's one awesome story that I have. I was probably 12, 13.
Okay.
And we were going down the street, right? And of course, you see the slapping. Your mom's telling you, "Don't look down. Look straight ahead. Whatever you're doing." And there's this couple. The guy's got his arm around his girl, and as he's got his arm around her, he's kind of by the card people, and just a quick sleight of hand behind the back, grab the card, and just pocket it.
Oh wow!
He pocketed like 12 cards. We went with him for so long just to kind of see what he would do.
Yeah.
Would they figure it out?
I have to imagine there's a lot of shady stuff that happens in Vegas.
Yeah, probably. The hangover came from.
Also, I got to bring this up too. So, also during that time, me and these same group of friends, we went to Moab for the first time. I had never, obviously, like I had just moved to Utah, and we went down to Moab. That was a really cool trip because, like, I'm getting to really explore like Arches National Park and Moab, and I think we ended up getting a hotel in like Durango, Colorado, or something like that. Yeah, it was just a really fun trip. So like I kind of think back to those times a lot because like I was young and I'm just kind of exploring life.
Well, what would be your tips for people that are kind of jumping into first with I guess wanting to jump into the industry? I don't know what you would consider because radio and broadcast, they have threads Would you consider it just like a overall entertainment industry, or are they pretty two separate things?
I would say, I mean, it's mostly classified as media.
Okay.
Like, I mean, if you want to just blanket it, media like radio and television. My advice for anyone getting into radio is, if you can, do an internship somewhere, work your butt off, because that's what I did. And if you can help it, try to stay in your home market for as long as you can. Learn as much as you can before you kind of leave the nest and move away. Because once you're out there, you're out there. For me, I kind of wish, I grew up in Michigan, so I kind of wish my first couple of jobs would have been somewhere in the Midwest, like Ohio or like Western Michigan. But my first job was Idaho Falls, Idaho. So imagine that, going from Detroit to Idaho Falls. Culture shock. So, I mean, try to stay close to home if you can. Learn as much as you can, and, don't ever say no. Take the small jobs, I guess you could call them crappy jobs. Learn as much as you can, hustle, work your butt off. It'll pay off in the end, and, you'll get to make it. As far as TV, I would say probably the same thing. If you can do an internship somewhere and try to, get a part-time gig, maybe as like a photojournalist or like a floor person.
Well, dude, you are seriously an inspiration. All the stuff you've been doing with your career and now with Good Things Utah, I'm eternally grateful for you for all of the opportunities you've given me.
Yeah.
And yeah, please come back. I'd love to do a part 2 on more stuff.
Yeah. I'd love to come back anytime. And wow. Thanks for the Dutch Bros. I'm an avid Dutch Bros fan, and I'm just so glad they're here in Utah. So no, thanks for having me, man. This was cool, and I love your setup, and I love what you do with the movie reviews, and I love having your talent on GTU, man. So
is there anywhere that people can find you? What's your
just find me on Instagram at Off Air with Bookie. Twitter is at Booker Show 1999, and then Facebook you can just find me Booker on the Radio.
Awesome. Check out all of our stuff on Patrick Beatty Reviews and all of the podcast things on Gaggle of Geeks. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you next time.